One of the biggest questions that gel printers have is, what do I do with all of these prints? Is there something I can do with gel printing that's practical, something that I can put to good use other than having this great big pile of prints in my drawer? Well, that's what I'm going to show you in today's video. I'm going to show you how to make a zine. And if you're not familiar with zines, zines are self-published booklets. Artists produce them. They can cover any topic: music, art, politics. They are usually produced in small quantities and given to somebody special. They're not mass-produced magazines with an editorial board and people making decisions. And in gel printing, zines are just one-offs. You just make yourself a little booklet like this, and you print your gel prints into it. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. I'm going to show you how to make two different sizes of zines and also how to print in them, because there are some tips and tricks that you do need to know. The great thing about the zines I'm going to show you today is that no tools are needed other than the piece of paper that you use and a scissors. There's no stapling. You don't need bookbinding needles or bookbinding thread. There is no binding of any kind. We're going to start with a piece of paper. We're going to fold it and cut it and create a zine from it. To make a zine, you don't need too much in the way of supplies. You are going to need a 3 by 5 inch gel plate. You're going to need a scissors, something to press the edges of the paper with, and of course paper. This drawing pad is from Strathmore and the paper size is 18 by 24 inches. So if you're going to be working with a 3 by 5 inch gel plate to create a zine, you need to start with a piece of paper that's about this size. Now this is 12 by 18. This is an 18 by 24 inch pad. I just took one of these sheets of paper here inside and I cut it in half. So this is 12 by 18 inches. That will work. You can also go with a slightly smaller size paper, 11 by 14 inches. That will work also. And don't worry, I will put all of these dimensions down in the description below the video so that you don't have to worry about that. So let's get going folding this paper. There's a special way to fold it, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. You're going to take your paper and you're going to hold it lengthwise like this. Now here in the United States, we say we're going to fold it hot dog style. And I have a lot of subscribers who are not from the United States. If you're not familiar with folding a piece of paper hot dog style, I'm gonna put up a visual right now of a hot dog. You can see what I'm talking about. But when you make a fold hot dog style, you have it the long way and you fold it. So that's what I'm going to do first. And try to line these up as best I can. And you can take a popsicle stick or a tongue depressor, you can take a spoon, you can take a bone folder to get your creases really sharp. I'm going to use my hand first, and then I'm going to go over it with the bone folder. But you could also use the edge of a spoon. That will work just fine. Then you open it up. Now we're going to fold this piece of paper hamburger style. We're talking about the buns that the hot dogs and the hamburgers go on. This looks more like a hamburger bun. So we're going to fold it in half, and I'm going to go over this with my bone folder. Now, having it go lengthwise this way, I'm going to take these edges and fold them in to meet the center. Going to open it up, and you can see that the paper now has 8 different sections. So now we're going to fold it hamburger style. You're going to take the folded edge towards you. The open edges are this way. You take your scissors and we're going to cut along this line just up until this point here. So we open it up, we have this opening here, and now you're going to take the paper and you're just going to try to push it up. I always think of a volcano when I do this, and manipulate it with your hands. So you have this kind of situation going on here where you're making this hole a little smaller, and then you're going to fold these pages along the creases. So there's 1, 2, 3. And here is your zine. Now, I'm not going to lie, every single time I make one of these pages always sticks out. It never lines up perfectly, but maybe one of these days I will get the hang of it. So don't be upset if one of your pages sticks out. Zines are very casual. We're not trying to create family heirlooms here. We're just creating something fun. It's a book for your gel printing, and now we're good to go. So this is what it's going to look like. From the top, you have this opening here. And that's what it's going to look like from the bottom. But it folds up. And now when you take your gel plate, it's going to fit right here with plenty of space around it. So this is my 12 by 18 sheet of paper. As I mentioned, you can also start with an 11 by 14 sheet of paper. I'm going to do a project with that next, with slightly smaller paper, and I'm going to show you how it's done. I'm getting ready to make some prints to put in my zine, but before I get started, I want to give you a couple of tips. The first thing that you need to be aware of is you shouldn't put too much paint on the plate. You wouldn't put as much paint on here as you would with a regular print. That's because we're going to be doing a lot of flipping over. We're going to be pressing this onto the plate. We're going to be flipping things over. You'll see what I mean in just a second. And if you have too much paint on the plate, your plate is going to go sliding around and your print is going to get mushed. How do I know? Because this happened to me the first few times I tried to make zines, and it was a real mess. So not only should you not put too much paint on the plate, you also have to be careful about getting paint on your hands. Now, usually when I gel print, I have paint all over the place. That's okay. But you're going to be picking this little book up, and you don't want to get paint fingerprints on here or all over the margins here if you're trying to create a really nice, clean looking book. Now, we are going to print something on the front and the back cover. We're going to do that eventually, but still, it helps to have your hands really clean and just be a little bit more cognizant, or just be a little bit more careful than you usually are about getting paint everywhere. Okay, let's get going. I'll put some green on here, and I'm going to be creating a mix of prints in here. You can create a little zine that's full of nothing but botanicals if you want. You can create a zine that has nothing but seashells or Christmassy type designs in it. It's really entirely up to you. But I'm going to do a mix just to show you what's possible. So I'm going to put this fern down like this. I'm going to open up to the first page. I'm going to press this down and try to center it. And I'm going to press. And when you're working with a plant or a botanical, what you can do is very carefully lift this up, pull it out, press down again, and now I'm going to flip this over. So this is where you need to be careful. I've got my fingers of my left hand on the zine. I've got my fingers from my right hand underneath the plate. Very good, carefully going to flip it over. And it's this flipping that can make the little plate slide. And that's what will happen if you have too much paint on there. So let's pull this off. And we have a nice little print. And I'm making sure that I don't have paint all over my fingers so that I don't get smudges all over my book. Now I'm going to take some things that I have found at the beach and press them into my gel plate. I don't think I'm going to use all of these. One of the things that you have to remember is that you're putting such a thin layer of paint on here, and that is too much that came out. You're putting such a thin layer of paint on here that it's going to dry very quickly. So you don't have a lot of time to be pressing things into the plate and pulling them away. So just keep that in mind. I'm removing excess paint from this. And then very quickly, I'm going to press these sand dollars on top and this coral. And this shell. Make sure that my hands don't have extra paint on them. I'm going to go to the back page of my zine and place it on here. You don't have to go to the back page. I just decided to go to the back because I wasn't quite sure that that first print that I did with the fern was completely dry yet. Make sure my fingers don't have wet paint on them. I'm going to slide my left fingers underneath the plate. I'm going to flip this. And I'm going to pull the print. So when we're creating zines, we're not using 4 layers of paint. We're not doing all of these complicated types of designs. You're just best off putting 1 layer of paint on the plate, pressing some texture into it, and then very quickly printing it and just letting the white of the paper come through these spaces. That's really the best way to do a zine. I'm going to do another print. This time I'm going to press in this crystal decanter into the plate to get an interesting design. So I'm going to put down some Prussian blue, roll it out. I'm going to press this in. And I'm going to put it on this page. I'm going to reach under the plate. I'm going to flip it and do the pull. I'm going to fill the rest of my zine up with a few more prints. I'm going to be speeding this video up and I'm going to be editing it. So here is the zine. And now we're going to do the cover. If you happen to have a 5x7 gel plate, it will fit over most of this. Now, you don't have to use this. You can use the small gel plate. If you wanted to put a zine on the front or print on the front with the gel plate, you can, and one on the back. It's entirely up to you. I'm just going to use my 5x7 plate to show you how to do this. And as we go through this, you can see this one is off kilter. I ended up putting this way too high. And this one is on a diagonal. And that's what happens. You can't see through the paper. You're just pressing this down on the plate. It can get a little tricky, but that's why these zines, they're just for fun. They're not something to stress out over. So I am going to use this particular stamp. I made this out of craft foam. I'm going to put paint on my plate. I'm going to put this on here, and then I'm going to put this on top of the plate. And I have a separate video here on the channel about how to make your own foam stamps, so I will link that in the description below. So I think I'm going to go with some blues. Going to place this on here. Try to put as even an amount of pressure as possible on it. And try to center this as best I can. Got a big blob of paint there. I'm just going to try to smooth that out a little bit so it doesn't look so blobby. And there we have it, our zine. This little zine was made from a sheet of paper that was originally 12 by 18. You can also start with something that is 11 by 14. So I have a pad of this Strathmore drawing paper. The original size of each sheet is 14 by 17. I just cut this down to 11 by 14, and we're going to give it the hamburger hot dog treatment. Hamburger. And here is our zine made from a piece of paper that's 11 by 14. You can see the difference in size. This 3 by 5 inch gel plate fits right on top of it with not a lot of room to spare, but this works perfectly on this as well. So let's do something quick with this. I decided to snip another piece of fern off of my indoor plant here. I'm going to do some colors in the pink and purple range. And I'm going to deliberately put this print on the second page here. I'm going to lift this up. And here we have a beautiful print. One of the reasons why I wanted to put this on the second page of the zine is just to give you some other ideas that are inspirational. For instance, you could write something with a beautiful pen over here if you do calligraphy, if you have a fountain pen. You could write some kind of inspirational verse, some kind of religious or spiritual verse here. You could write a poem. If you were to make a little zine like this and give it to somebody for their birthday, you could write their birth date here and something special about the date they were born. You don't have to fill up every single page of the zine with gel prints. You could just put a few in here and leave blank pages to fill in other things. You could, if you do collage work, you could put some of your collage papers in here. You can glue it. So there's a lot that you can do. Another thing you could do is if you have a poem or some kind of verse, you can print it off. You can cut out pieces of the verse and glue them right on top. You could make these seasonally. You could do a summer zine of things from your summer travels or things that are outdoors in your area in the summer. You could do one in the fall with acorns and leaves and other things that may be in your area. You could do a winter zine with evergreens and feathers and things that you may find outside and so on. So there are so many things that you can do with the zines. They make great gifts, and these are great for kids to do too. It helps them learn how to gel print. Gel printing is great for kids because there are no sharp tools to use. There are no razors. The paints are not toxic. So this is a great project for kids. Another way to make a zine is to print all over your piece of paper before you start folding it. Now this is not 11 by 14 or 12 by 18. This is just a regular piece of printing paper that I use on my 8 by 10 inch gel plate. This is 9 by 12, but I just wanted to show it to you as an example. You can take your piece of paper, the one that you want to use to make the zine, and just print all over it. And then you can start folding it hot dog and hamburger style and cut it and then fold it up, and then you have this beautiful zine with a design already all over it. In the future, I will be producing more lessons here on YouTube about how to make books, but they're going to require some binding. They may require some stitching. So I'm going to be doing that in the future so that you can create even more projects with your gel prints. I do know how to do formal bookbinding. I created this book by hand. If you're interested in learning how to do this kind of bookbinding, the kind that's more complicated, in which you're creating various sections and sewing them together, just leave me a message in the comments because I can add bookbinding lessons to this channel if that's what you would like. And if you would like to get a copy of my free gel printing supply list, there is a link in the description below this video. All you have to do is click it and this will be sent to you right away. It's a 9-page booklet really that contains information about all the supplies I use. It has links to the supplies, the gel plate I use, the brayers, the printing paper, a lot of information about paint, making sure that you're getting the right kind of paint and other optional supplies that you may need. So like I said, the link is below the description. Just click on it and this will be sent to you right away. And if you have any questions or comments about today's lesson, please put them down below the video and I will get right back to you, and expect some more gel printing videos in the future.